Right, hi guys. Welcome to the Shankly's Boot Room. And yes, so today we're going to have a little look at the Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool preview for tomorrow night, of course. And but before I get into that, I just wanted to uh, give some thanks to a few people that came along to the watch-alongs I did over the weekend. I didn't have too many, but I had a few. Had one or two people, which was really nice. And thank you for that. It's I like doing the watch-alongs actually. Really do like doing them. So yeah, it's good to have those faithful guys that came in and supported me there. I really do appreciate that, and I just thank the whole community really for the support I've been having over the last few weeks, really, with this brand new channel. And I'm really into it. I really want it to do well, and so yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a road, but there we are. That's how it is. So what was I going to say? Yeah, I want to just talk a little bit about. The way things have been going though with everything at the moment because no signings coming in. um doesn't even look like anyone's going out, but the three main contracts are still not done. And it's a bit worrying, lads, because even by the standards of FSG and how they performed over recent years, it starts to become a bit of a worry when you don't make any signings in the summer. Well, Chiesa, and the keeper, of course, who we don't have. But outside of that, still got some areas for concern. Left back for me is a big concern. Robbo is not performing to the levels that he used to do, and he can't perform at those levels now, in my opinion. And just things like that are sort of showing themselves up. And I just think I would be. The way how I see it is that we should be acting from a position of strength. Arne Slot was not expected to have done as well as he's done, but he has done. So therefore, we need to really back him, to be honest with you. And that should be the way we should be looking at it to give us a real push towards the end of the season, because we're not just looking at the title, we're in all the competitions at the moment as it stands. And until such times as we come out of competitions, we're in them. And so, but I do agree with a lot of other YouTubers in that we're in a pretty good place on the whole. And we are where we are, of course, as well. We are at the top of the league, albeit it's 6 points ahead with a game in hand, but we still are where we are. We've got a massive game tomorrow, which I want to speak about in a short while. But we mustn't sort of exclude the fact that the big test coming now for Arne Slot is this next few months until the end of the season now. How he's going to manage the team, how he's going to um, how he's going to rotate the team, I would almost say. I was looking the other day at some of the stats of minutes played, and there's quite a number of players that we can utilise in the second half of the season that haven't played a lot. The obvious ones like Endo, Elliott, players like that, and maybe even some of the more fringe-based players could even play in some games. So I don't think Arne Slot is a big rotator. In what I've seen from him in his previous club, he does like to have a fairly small squad and run with those players. But of course, he will be aware this is the Premiership, and it's a much strenuous league with a big Christmas period. Kind of thing, lots of matches over Christmas. The other day, I was looking at Ruben Amorim, who's only been there 5 minutes, and the amount of games that have already been played since he's been at Man United. So it's just an indicator of just how many games we play from like November, obviously through till if we have a short break or whatever in March. Still, I don't know, but a lot of games. But anyway, I'm not harping on about that too much because I think we can cope with that. But this club needs to start waking up to how we're doing the business in the club, because I feel at the moment it's fairly abysmal, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to speak about specific players because I'm actually one of these that I'm happy that who the club decides and who the manager decides, I'm happy with that, even if it's someone I've never heard of. because I believe they've done their homework, they've checked it out, and they feel it suits the club. Big name signings are all right, but I don't live and die by that. As a fan, I want the club to just be successful, of course, but at the same time, I want players to come in that the club want to have in, or rather, in particular, Arne Slot wants in. I think really, even though he's a coach rather than a manager, he's still got to work with the players, so he has to have some say, of course, in how that works out, which is fair enough. So that would be one of the things that I would say about that. But yeah, but in general, we need to back the guy. He's had a tremendous first half of the season. We've all been surprised by that, and long may it continue. But we've got another half of the season to go, and we need to see a little bit more from these players. We have sort of dipped a little bit in recent weeks. I'm not going to include the weekend's game because, obviously we were way superior to them in many respects, and you would have expected. I mean, for half an hour they were pretty good, but outside of that, even when you get to the rest of the game, we sort of took over and dismantled them quite comfortably, really. And the class was there. Obviously, the difference in class was quite evident. So, but from our league form, we have dipped a bit. There is no two ways about that. Whether that be, I'm loath to use the word fatigue because I'm not even too sure it's that, but we've dropped off, and that happens to every club. We're no different to anybody else. Every club is going to dip off in the season at some point, and maybe we've had our little blip here now. But let's hope that with the weekend's game and with the magnitude of the game coming up, which we're going to go into in a minute, which I think is a really hobby game of the season. Let's get it right so far. I don't think that's in any doubt because they beat the only team to have beaten us, and they've won 6 on the bounce, which is quite something really. So Nottingham Forest in a really good place, and so we need to really turn up tomorrow. We haven't always been starting games the best for me, so I'd like to see us start really well tomorrow, and let's hope that does happen. And then get into the game and just command all areas really, and just look to dominate that midfield. Look to get it. They play obviously with a back three and with wing backs, and I'm a little bit worried about Andy Robertson in this game, but hopefully my worries are not are not deserved or whatever, because but yeah, I think it should be a very interesting game. It's really looking forward to it, and I just hope that we really play something like our best, because I think we're going to need to do that really, if we're going to get anything from this game. And I think it's an important game to get. We need to get a statement down, and we need to really do something with that. So looking at, let's have a little look at Nottingham Forest for a bit then. So Nottingham Forest, so in their last 6 games, they've beaten Manchester United 3-2, which was away. At home, they've beaten Aston Villa 2-1. They then beat Brentford 2-0 away. They've then beaten Tottenham 1-0, Everton 2-0, and Wolves 3-0. So they're conceding very few goals and actually scoring quite a few goals. So they're being potent on both boxes, and we have been that ourselves across the season, of course. We just need to get back to that little bit of controlling games. I feel we're giving up a little bit too much. Not so much possession, but we're getting turned over far too easy, and that's got to stop, because I think that's going to be an issue going into the second half of the season. We need to get back to that little bit of control. I don't necessarily mean the side-to-side passing and just passing it around at the back and stuff. I still think we need to play with a good tempo, but we need to have a good shape about us, and we need to be very mindful of breakaways and stuff like that, which we were earlier in the season, but I think we've got away a little bit from that, in my opinion. But anyway, the team is there, so it's my team for tomorrow will be my predicted team will be full strength, as it were. Really, I think that it will be Alisson in goal. I think we'll have Trent. I think we'll have Konate if he's available with Van Dijk, and we'll have. I think it'll be Robbo um, at left back. I think the midfield will be Gravenberch, McAllister, and I'm going to go for Szoboszlai. We've been missing Szoboszlai. He's come back from illness, and I don't think he's got any suspensions or anything. I think this will be the game that I would like to see him back in, and we're going to need that energy. We're going to need that bite. We're going to need that what he's been showing in recent displays. Anyway, we're going to need all of that. So sorry, this camera's really not picking so well as it, guys. Anyway, so I think that's important, and yeah. Then I think up front, I think Jota might start this game. He's got a very good record against Nottingham Forest, you know, and although I don't think he's at his brilliant best at the minute, I just think we might start with Jota, and I think we'll have Salah and Gakpo. That'll be my starting 11. So Diaz will drop down to the bench on this one for me. But I don't think that's a very popular decision. I think a lot of channels and stuff and whatever around the game are going for Diaz in that 9 role. But I just think it's going to be Jota for this one. I think Diaz is actually suspended for this, is he not? So he can't play anyway. But that would be my team. We're going to have to match them up all over the season. It's going to be a physical game, and we're going to have to stand up to the physicality of that, and we're going to have to be really careful. They look to break with that front four and get in behind you and cause damage, and we're going to have to be really mindful of that. So the defenders are going to have to be up for it. We're going to have to defend well from our midfield perspective, but at the same time, we have to create and make a nuisance of ourselves at the other end and try and score. So we've got to obviously do all of that. And but I think we're going to win. I'm predicting a 2-0. I actually don't. I think we'll keep a clean sheet because I think we'll be so minded to not concede. So I'm going for 2-0 in this one. Let's hope I'm right. And so yeah, that's how I see the game. But yeah, across the whole season, people do ask me a lot of questions about my theories of FSG, and I'm not an FSG guy. I never have been. I want them out of our club. As I've always maintained, like with this channel, when I've done my introduction, I base my philosophy on Liverpool the same way that Bill Shankly did. And so a lot of people say to me, but we're not in the era of Bill Shankly. Football's changed. It's not the same anymore. But the values and what he built the club up on have not changed. It is exactly the same. And so we don't need to look at Liverpool any differently. And the great man wouldn't have us look at it any differently. And so therefore, we have the mentality: the first is first, and second is nothing. And that was his philosophy, and that's the way he built everything up around that. He built his players up on that. He built the club up on that, and that's the way his whole mentality went. And so, with that in mind, FSG, I can never be a supporter of them because they have no ambition actually for us to win stuff. They have ambition for us to be in the top 4, but they have no ambition for us to actually win anything. And I really do mean that. They don't. If you slip outside the top 4, you'll see them investing, trying to get us back in there and all that kind of thing. Once when we're at the top of the mountain and we're the up there at the pinnacle, the best, they don't do anything. And that's kind of the way they are. Tight with the purse strings. And like I said at the start of this recording, I am not interested in the slightest about the types of players that come in. I don't get into all of that transfer stuff, all the transfer talk, and that doesn't bother me. I want who Hughes and Edwards and Arne Slot want in. Those are the 3 figures that I'm looking at. In particular, Hughes and who's got a lot of work to do. Hughes, for me, by the way, he's done barely anything since coming in, so he's got to start stepping up too. We need to see him doing something. But with Arne Slot, you know, and whatever players that they want in, I'll back, you know. And if they don't turn out, then yeah, we can have a conversation that they haven't worked out. But I think that's the way it has to be. There's loads of great players out there, guys. There's no excuses. Every year we hear that, you know, specific player wasn't available. Well, you shouldn't be relying upon one player. You should have a list of players you want for a specific role. And they should be A, B, C, D, and E or whatever, but they should all be roughly the same. There's no disappointments if you don't get A because you've got B, like we did with Jota. So my theory on that has always been the same, and that's the way it should be. So no, in answer to questions I've had, I'm not an FSGN guy. I want them out of our club. I want someone to come in with much more ambition. People say to me they run the club really well. Well, they took out a loan to extend the stands. We mustn't forget that. Those stands they didn't dip into their own pockets to expand Anfield. They came through a loan through the club. They don't invest very much at all, if we're really, really honest. They are a sell to buy model at the end of the day, and that's the way it actually is. So if I could have FSG out tomorrow, if it was the right setup, I would. Yeah, I don't want them at our club. I never have. And so that answers that question. The other question, what was the other question I had the other day that I regularly get asked about my theories on? Well, on Pacific players, I suppose we've all got our views. I was asked about Darwin Núñez. Yeah, I'll give my view on him. I don't think he should be at the club either. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I think we've given him 3 years. He's in his third season now. When he comes on, apart from running around, he makes no impact. And the thing is, ask yourself when he's 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper or he's through on goal. So, how much do you feel out of 10 inside yourself? Do you think he's going to actually score? Answer that to yourself, because I've got a very, very low score for thinking he's going to actually score a goal. So that's what he's there for, to score goals. Running around doesn't mean anything. We've got plenty of players in the team that can run around and make a nuisance of themselves and all the rest of it. There's no point in having pace and penetration and being able to get into the box if when you get there, you're going to blaze it over the bar, hit it wide, and all this kind of stuff. What he does, offside all the time. Half the time he's offside looking down the line, which is ridiculous. So yeah, that's my version on that's my opinion on him. So he's kind of like the one that most people have really had enough of, and I think I'm in the same boat as those that have. Those that really support him you have to ask yourself, what does he actually bring to the team when he's on the pitch in terms of what he's actually employed to do, which is obviously a goal scorer. That's what he's there to do, score us goals, and he isn't doing that. And he works hard, but he just doesn't provide that end product, which is what we need. Jayden Dan, he was standing next to Jayden Dans when that ball came in when he scored the goal on Saturday, and it's Jayden Dans who taps it in. You know what I mean? Say no more. He just isn't for us, I'm afraid. So if he'd go in January, I'd even say I even think to lose him is actually nothing. It's not actually a negative to actually lose him, believe it or not, because he just offers so little when he's actually there. So that's my theory on him. I don't have any other questions that people have been asking me lately, because obviously I'm a new channel and people want to know what I'm about, kind of thing, as to whether they want to follow me or not. I mean, probably if you're an FSG in guy, you probably won't follow me because you're not going to hear very much positivity there. Really, I've had enough of them. So yeah, but that's it. Robbo, we need a serious upgrade on Robbo now. He's been a fantastic player for us. At one point was the best left back in the world for me. Now it's actually a little bit sad, I think, when we sometimes see him, especially when he starts playing double games in 2 games in a week. He just can't do it anymore, guys. We have to be honest with ourselves. He's not that player anymore. And he's actually costing us a bit in games, and he's being targeted in games. I bet you tomorrow, if Robbo plays, they're going to be targeting him because they'll see him as a weak link, either getting balls in behind him or just getting players around him and all this kind of thing. And yeah, so yeah, Robbo needs to go. We do need a left back. We either need a centre, we either need a left-sided centre back that can play left back, or we need a left back at the very least. We do need another centre back as well, in my opinion. And I think we still need another midfielder. So I'm pretty much on the side of most people who I think tend to sort of think that way anyway. And the way January is turning out, it's kind of like um, unbelievable, really. Yes, we're being linked with players. I never believed the Georgian guy was going to come in. I just don't see that happening. If you actually look at it, the articles that came out about it, they never really say that either. If you really read between the lines there, and it keeps on mentioning about how close he is to going to PSG and stuff. So I didn't get the excitement over that player really. I didn't see it in anything that was coming out either from the club or from even the reporters that did mention it. They were really sort of. I mean, I could be wrong. He could be a Liverpool player tomorrow, for all I know. The way the club works, but I don't know if we'll bring anyone in. I think we should do, whether we will or not. We need to get these contracts sorted as well, because I think I'm not going to say that's a reason why we've dipped or anything like that. I don't think that's how it works, but with our players, but it doesn't help. Let's put it that way. We need to get them sorted out so we can move on. So we either know one way or the other. I want all of them to stay. I'd love all of them to stay. And let's just hope we do. Just hope they do all stay. I think it's really important to our club moving forward. I mean, let's look at it on the other. Let's look at it from the other perspective. Let's say they all leave. You've got two. You've got two world-class players. You could argue possibly even three, but two definite world-class players. At the moment, there isn't anyone better than Mo Salah in the world at what he does, and Van Dijk is the best centre back in the world for me. With Trent, he's got gifts and abilities which he can bring to your team, and I'm going to leave it at that for that one. But because there's elements of his game that I don't like, his application, the way he applies himself, the way his work rate at times. I just find he's very in and out of games, and it's all kind of on his terms, really. Well, it's a team game. I wouldn't actually have him as a vice captain, by the way. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't have him as a vice captain because I don't see the effort. I don't see that teamwork. It's all about Trent, you know. Having said that, if he stays, I'll be happy. Yeah, of course I will. He's a quality player. But the other two definitely, and I think they'll get done. But I'm not 100% sure now. The longer it goes on, is the more doubts I have. But the club should just stump up the money, stump up the year. If they want 3-year contracts, give them 3-year contracts. These guys have given their everything to Liverpool Football Club. They've been absolutely brilliant. Do you see Mo dipping off anytime soon? Do you see Van Dijk dipping off anytime soon? We might have, as the next year and the season after, we might have to start managing their minutes a bit more. Yeah, of course. They're getting older, but still brings so much to the team. And I think Virgil has stepped up to become a really great captain. I do, honestly. He's been the one out there shouting and jostling and getting everybody, getting on under the skins of the players and not stepping up and all of that. He looks the most disappointed in our recent games. He's a great captain, and we must definitely sign him and Mo Salah as well, and if we can, Trent. So I hope all those factors give you a bit of an idea of who I am in terms of what I believe at the club, which is what a lot of other people believe. And then there are others that defend the owners. There are others that defend Darwin Núñez, for example, and say he still should have a future at the club. We should give him more time. I think time's up for me personally. I probably last season is when I started to see, this guy isn't it really, Anyway, I'm digressing a bit now. So I'm just pondering whether I might do a watch along tomorrow. Be nice if some of you guys can come and join me if I do one. I really, really would appreciate that. But yeah, I might do a watch along. I like doing them. It's a massive game, and yeah, it's going to be, as I said earlier, I think we'll win 2-0. And let's just hope we really put on a performance that's befitting of the fixture and of where the two clubs are at the moment and all that kind of thing. Let's just hope that we manage to really put on a great performance and get the win. I'm sure we will. Lots of games to come, of course, as the weeks go on. And this, of course, is the big learning curve now for Arne Slot. He's never had to go through a Christmas like he's just been through. He's never been at a club as big as this before. He's never had to face all these different fixtures. What he's facing, what he's been facing now. He's never had to face. There are no easy games in the Premiership. I think he's actually come out and actually mentioned that apart from about 5 or 6 games a season, the rest you're expected to really win quite comfortably. So he's actually mentioned that himself. And of course, with the Premiership, we know there is no games like that. Every game is a tough game, and every game is a potential banana skin if you don't turn up and play right. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, guys, I just want to back him. I think he's a great manager. I think he's a great tactical manager. I think he's getting the best out of the players. We have dipped off a little bit. We need to get ourselves back on track with our performance levels, and not just give an inch out there and just be up for every ball. Get a lot of these second balls. We've got to start winning those. We've got to start winning our one-on-one duels, which I think we've dipped off on, and just get ourselves back to where we were earlier in the season for me. And I think if we can do that, we can have a real go and win this title. I really do believe that. We've got that little bit of a gap ahead. And if we can extend that by just getting back to winning ways, and we'll do no better than that than getting a win against Nottingham Forest. I think that'd be the greatest answer to them all. So anyway, guys, I'm on the way to 100 subscribers. If you're not subscribed and you see this video, please do like and subscribe to it, and pass it on to your friends. And oh, by the way, to just let you know a couple of things with the channel, how it's going to work is I want to be doing a lot of the things that a lot of the other guys who are friends of mine do, but I also want to have added things in there where things are a little bit different. So one of the things is I would love to do a series of interviewing all our great YouTubers out there for the Liverpool channels to just find out a bit more about them, and I come from a background of music, actually. So that's my actual background. And so I'm used to doing interviews and stuff like that. So, just some of the regular YouTubers out there that you will see every week, just get to know them a bit more, really, and find out a bit more about their journeys and how they came to be in YouTube. And maybe that might even attract some of you guys out there to start your own channel. I don't think you can ever have enough channels, because if you go into it with just being you, be yourself, and not someone else, just be God's made you to be, as it were, really, and go out there and do your channel in the way you feel it should be done, and you should have a great, at least reasonable success, and you'll build up a community of people that will follow you because of your honesty and your reality and your truthfulness, which I think all those factors are very, very important. I've made some incredible friends through the YouTube family of Liverpool channels. We've got so many fantastic channels out there. And please go and support all these guys, because they are amazing. Coppish, Jamie Phillips, the list goes on and on and on. There's Sam, yeah, go out and follow these guys and follow their channels, because they're really fantastic. I hope to have some of these guys on. We'll have to see how that all unfolds. So that's something that will be a focus on the channel. I also want to focus on some local Reds round by me. There's one particular I'm thinking of at the moment, and we'll perhaps get him on the channel and we can do some watch-alongs together or some reviews together. So I want to get some more collaborations going as well, so it's not just me, and get other people involved in the channel, And in actual fact, if you're thinking of starting your own channel and you would like to, come on and be with me and spend a bit of time with me before you actually do it and see how how you feel with the whole YouTube thing, then like, I'm always more than happy to support you that way and have you on, and hear your views and your opinions, because that's what it's all about with Liverpool, of course, with football in general. Anyway, I have absolutely gone on and on. It's 30 minutes in, and so I think we'll end it there. Um, yeah, big up the Reds for tomorrow. You never walk alone, and watch out for maybe I might do a watch along. So we'll see what happens. But thanks, guys, and catch you soon.